YouTube. I want to talk about something actually kind of serious today. Well, if you live in America, you should know that we're having a big issue right now with police and the way they treat certain people, especially people of minority groups and certain racial groups. So it seems like somewhat of a divide between people, and I just want to make some broad points on this whole thing. So I want to, mention things like Eric Gardner or Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin. I'm sorry, not Trayvon Martin. He doesn't count with police. Tamir Rice, Mr. Gurley from New York City, and a few others that I may be forgetting at the moment. But there seems to be a lot of indignation with people, and so I just want to make some points. So, first things first, everyone. If we want to get certain tangible goals reached, we can't be looting or destroying people's businesses. Now, I'm sure that not everyone's doing that. Not everyone is committing these violent acts, these horrendous, disgusting, unwarranted actions. Not everyone's doing it, but I feel as if the protesters who are good should be making more of an effort to stop the bad protesters, because they only make you guys look bad. And it's also bad when you have a line of protesters with other people in that group throwing rocks at police officers and sticks and trying to harm them. You're never going to get anywhere with violence. I know it sounds cliche, violence isn't the answer, but honestly, the reason why violence is not the answer, because it never leads to compromise or resolution. It only, and I'll say this again, it only leads to the obliteration or the submission of your opponent or of you. When you go to war with someone, you better destroy them, because that's the point. You don't go to war with someone to try to compromise with them. You don't battle with them, want to meet them at some even point, or because you respect them as persons. You do it because you want to obliterate them and remove them from the equation. So violence in any form, whether it be direct violence against police officers or violence against people's property, especially people who have nothing to do with police, like people who own hair salons or laundromats or grocery stores. These people have nothing to do with indicting Eric Gardner indicting the police who choked Eric Gardner or Darren Wilson. They have nothing to do with that. And so I just find it ridiculous that people would even stoop to such things, and it's disgusting, and protesters should be making more of a point to tell that faction of the group cut it out, and to make sure they cut it out. Because if they did that, I feel that the public at large would see the protesters more favorably. They would see them in a more positive light, because right now a lot of people see them as just looters or people harboring or letting looting happen. So I want to put up some points that I think that are these tangible goals, and some of them you probably have heard of all of them, but I just wanted to make this video to put it all in one place. So the first tangible goal that I think this movement of this kind of swelling up of people who are noticing that there's a problem with the way police interact with the citizens, the first thing is to ask for body cameras. Body cameras are necessary because in certain instances, like with Darren Wilson and Michael Brown, we were able to solve all the issues of who attacked who and who ran after who and what happened and who shot who when. That these things would all be resolved if there was a body camera. Now, some people might say, well, a body camera is going to be like an invasion of the person's privacy. Well, as long as they're on work, I don't see how it would be, considering the fact that their job carries a huge responsibility to which we have to uphold them in a higher regard than most people. So we need to give them body cameras. We're not taking them home, but when the shift's over, they take them off. Other people say, well, what about people who the police interact with and record it? Well, if that's the case, I mean, I don't see any difference from police cameras on dashboards of police cars, or I don't see anyone ever saying anything about that. So I don't see what the issue would be. And if someone was really having a problem with it, we can just have them taken out afterward, you know, like kind of like post-production in the sense to use that word. So that's the first tangible goal, is these body cameras. The second tangible goal is to demilitarize the police. It's been shown that beginning with Bush and under Obama, our police have been receiving surplus weaponry from the military. Now, this is ridiculous because of things like posse comitatus, the fact that police officers are not they're not foot soldiers. They're there to keep the peace. You know, I mean, not even all police around the world have weapons. I mean, police in the United Kingdom, they don't have weapons. Billy clubs. The SWAT teams have weapons, but they don't patrol the police streets. I mean, they patrol the city streets. So, demilitarizing the police is the second goal, right? The third goal would be to change police training. So it's kind of related to the first one, where the first one dealt more with the that police get. This third goal, changing police training, deals more with what they actually learn, the behaviors they go through. And so things like, if you have to shoot, let's say if in the case of Tamir Rice, if you do believe this gentleman has a weapon, he's about to pull it out on you, you should kill. You should shoot the knees or shoot the hands or shoot a place that won't be considered a vital organ. So that's one thing. Another thing is just dealing with people. I mean, I'm definitely not trying to defend police and all sorts. I mean, a lot of them are assholes. I have police officers in my family, and I'm not going to say all police are assholes. The cool police are actually really cool. But there are police there, and we can't like to throw their weight around and like to treat citizens with a certain kind of contempt or disrespect. So in that case, we should really change how police are trained and how they treat other people, especially with the problem with the biggest problem here is the war on drugs, because it basically we're making them into an army to fight the war on drugs, which is a war on people, a war on us, our citizens. If you follow this channel or my blog, you'd know that I write a lot about and talk a lot about the drug war and its hypocrisies and its fact that it's just doing a lot more harm than good. So I won't get into that too much. But the idea is that what causes the militarization of police is and also the war on terror, which I haven't really talked a lot about. And I should start talking about it more because it's something I'm pretty passionate about, in the sense that the war on terror is kind of a farce, just like the war on drugs, in the sense that your chances of dying from a terror less than being struck by lightning. So if you're afraid of terrorists, you should be more afraid of lightning strikes because that's more common. The final point is also one that's been said a bunch of times with media pundits and people on the left and right, is to change the internal affairs so that it's done by a different precinct. So they still have the internal affairs office, but instead of doing the internal affairs or the investigations within the department, they do it for another department where they don't have to rub shoulders with the people they're investigating. Because we well know that emotionally, when you develop a certain bond with them, and that bond's hard to break, especially when you're supposed to be trying to evaluate them objectively, and instead you're seeing them as a friend and you're trying to help them really judge them for what they are objectively. So it'd be a great idea to have us maybe it could be a precinct in another county or a precinct in another state. I'm not too sure, but it could be just the one next over. But the idea is that you don't want it to be people who rub shoulders and work with on a day-to-day basis with the people they're investigating. You don't want that kind of relationship between them. So those are my 4 points. Plus, that violence doesn't lead to anything good but destruction of one side or the other. Final thing I want to say is all this dead-end stuff. This, you're going in traffic or messing up the line at Walmart or something. How about you go to the courthouses where it made the decisions that you're so mad at, right? That we're all upset about, especially in the case of Eric Gardner. You go there and make the jobs of the people who made that decision more difficult. Have them late to their own meeting, to their own business, and they can't get in park, and they have to walk farther down at the park, farther away or something. That's what people should do. Up the traffic of Joe Schmo who's trying to get to his home after a long, hard day of work. You're thinking, attention, we're making ourselves. No, you're just making people hate you. You're making people go, shit, I got my own stuff to care about. I got my own crazy life, and you're making it harder on me. Really, people, if they're all into this dead stuff, this dead end, or blocking traffic, or all this other stupid shit, I consider, a step above looting, maybe 2 or 3 steps above looting. But I'm saying it doesn't lead to anything good. Go to the courthouses. Go to these same courthouses that they made the decisions at, and their jobs a lot harder. Here's the thing about grand juries, people. Double jeopardy doesn't grand juries. You can have 2 grand juries about the same topic, about the same person. It's not like a trial where once he's convicted, once he's acquitted or convicted, he can't be acquitted or convicted again, right? It's double jeopardy. No, in a grand trial, you can have as many of them as you want. So go to these places and make their jobs a living hell, not the average person. Go to the courthouses. Go to the police stations. Don't go to 95 or Pathmark or the middle of Main Street. Don't go there. Go to the decision that you have a problem with came from. Go there. All right, this is going. It's almost 12 minutes. So thanks for listening. Those are my 4 points, plus the idea that violence never leads to anything, and start protesting courthouses and police stations, not freeways and supermarkets. No, thank you for listening, and you have a great one, guys.